Okay, and I believe we are live. Good day, my dear fellow friends. My name is Raven Marine, aka Thunbird One. But for the most part, you could just call me Thunbird One for short. Today, we are doing episode 4 of the thuncast. We have a special host today, another Necron. He decided to come out of his tomb of slumber and came upon here to merely share his point of view and opinions on the whole community itself. I'll give you the man, the myth, the legend, and do apologize if I pronounce your name wrong, Yeetamand. Yeetamand. Do tell me, my dear friend, how was your day?
My day was pretty
Wait,
good.
wait. For the sake of this, I'm just gonna call you Yeet.
Yeah, just call me Yeet.
Okay. So, Yeet, how was your day?
It's been very good so far. Lots of good fighting, a lot of good playing around. War strategies.
That is really good to know. Do tell me, what about anything else? I guess, hmm. I don't even know. We will just continue with the 6 exponential questions. Also, by the way, I'm gonna let you know here now, these videos will not be edited in any sort of way. This is merely but to capture the tryingness of me and for the dear fellow guests. It'll be funny for some people and it'll be really important and confidential for some who would want to know more of the IOM. The goal here for the Thuncast is to merely share your opinion. So, let us continue with the 6 questions. The first one being, how did you find the Imperium of Man, or community, in the community?
Alright. I think the main reason was I was in Revan's Chaos for back a while ago during November for 2022. It was quite a slog, I'll say. A bit of a mess overall, and I wanted to go to a more stable and hopefully better form of community. I was in Chaos for a week or two, and then I moved over to Necrons because I thought, hey, why not? That might be fun.
I see. When did you join? When the Imperium, when Caldega was merely at its prime, or when it was genuinely at its midsection of production?
More of at its midsection of production, because I definitely was here before the main weapons overhaul, but I don't think I remember any other major updates past that point. However, I have had my eye on many genres like this for a while. I simply just decided to join this one.
Fascinating. You know what is really actually getting me stumped is when you were in Revens. I've heard that Revens was merely but a not so good place to be as a Warhammer 40k fan. It was strict, it was harsh, and it was unkind to people who were not genuinely having any purpose. It didn't lack that self motivation of dreams. But you actually left, started to look for a new dream elsewhere, and then here you are. Tell me,
Yes.
did you had any regrets?
Regrets from coming here, or regrets in parentheses?
Well,
Or
regrets in both standards.
regrets in both. I'll definitely say this. My main regret and gripe was not taking action and ideology nearly as much and just keeping silent and during Revan's whole shtick, because most of the time the rules were very strict, and most of the time, for some reason, most of the officers did not seem, for the time that I was there, not very active. Like, I'd see one event occasionally, but never on a set schedule. Events were very rare, and they're difficult to find for me. My my progression was mainly stumped due to the officers not having many events. And that, in the fact that when we did have an event, we'd be rally only 10 people, while our enemy, the Imperium, would manage to rally about 20. We'd be outnumbered and outgunned. It was not very fun. And regrets for here, I definitely say I haven't had any regrets so far. Not as of yet, but I am still fairly somewhat new. So that may change in the near future. However, right now it's been peachy.
I see. Very well said. And also, by the way, before we continue this, a dear fellow friend of mine named Pub was able to show me a little suggestion. I'm just letting you know here now, I've been trying to do it, and since we didn't have enough time, we are only but settling this. But do not worry. In the near future, I will try to figure out that little suggestion that you post. Alright. Second question. What was your journey like in Necrons?
My main journey in Scribe so far was I started out in Scribe during February for this year, February, a few months ago. It was mainly a big slog at first. There I also met Black Draconis. He's a bit infamous for some of the Necrons because he was an interesting fellow. He did not really learn when he should shut his mouth, to put it bluntly. He was quite interesting. He was very open to it and got into a big feud with Zachary, one of the developers, about the Force staff when it was just still very new. And so much that he brought up the Rod of Covenant at once, and suddenly we were afraid that it might get nerfed, even though during that state, Rod was a bit of an interesting weapon. It was very powerful damage-wise during them, but its range was lacking, and you could be outpaced and outsped by a guardsman wearing a chainsword. It was not fun. You could basically kite backwards. The most use I'd see out of a Triarch sometimes would just be camping the main spawner on Alpha and just patiently waiting for someone to enter.
I've heard many of the guard will honestly be sick of Lich Guards, the Lords, and mostly Triarchs actually just camping fuel station. You know, I could really actually admit that throughout those times when you guys didn't possess any of those upgrades of speed
Yeah.
and damage was just absolutely fine. It's just speed. You guys were just absolute kings of defending Firebase.
Yeah.
But now it's just mere.
Yeah, defending Firebase is still somewhat approachable and easier, but not nearly as powerful and as potent as it was before. Mainly with that being the Tesla carbine being locked for changing in issues, because I also discovered an issue with the Tesla myself when using it when it was recently added. I'd realized it caused freeze frames every time it was shot.
Jesus, that must have been a pain for whoever
wielded
that.
Yeah. And you know what's the best part? That wasn't just for the wielder who used it. That would be for everyone who rendered in the particle. It is very buggy and very weird. I hope they fix that when it's finally done. However, and then I became warrior for like a big period of time. I was there for like a bit. I remember a mortal that I aspired to be back a while ago called Chronomorph. Now he's a simple warrior because he was a bit inactive. And then I got promoted to immortal to take his place. Right now, I've been enjoying my time as immortal. However, my progress has once again been stumped. However, not because of events, but just because most of the other ranks are handpicked now. I'm definitely fine with them being handpicked. That's how it should be. However, at this point, I have over 60 points.
And that's just by showing activity-wise?
Yeah, that's also not just activity. I've gotten a lot of kills at times when, for once, I'm not tired. And I have managed to kill Algo 4 times and Rigor Custodians 3 times. However, I will definitely say, though, it is very difficult, and most of the main threat comes from fighting, the main thing with fighting custodians is the main reason that you want to do and how to take them down is focus fire and coordination. That's your main thing as custodians, because they are very powerful, because they can easily just pick you off one by one, especially in confined spaces and areas. They're very powerful at that. Basically, don't ever get that close to them. However, then again, they do have some ranged weapons, but they are still dealable. Not overpoweredly broken, I'd say. I'd say manageable.
A Necron that actually keeps track of kill counts of custodians and actually has a good exponential strategy for them.
Yeah,
Nice.
I try to plan out my engagements fairly well, and another thing that I mainly will take note of is ideologies of when I died, how I died. I take note of what mistakes I made and what I could have improved there, because I aspire to be one of the big top dogs, the main fighters. Yeah, and we have one of a very, very competent Praetorian who recently joined a while ago, back in April the 8th. His name is Imperial Justicar. I'd like to give a big round of applause to him. This man is amazing. He is very good at fighting. Exceptional, I'd say. He managed to kill a space marine when he was still a scarab, which is an impressive feat considering how... The thing is with scarabs, they're paper thin. They're guardsman thin. Very easy to kill. However, when their hitboxes aren't being odd.
By any chance, did he tell the name of the space marine that was killed by a scarab? Well, scarab him.
I don't think I remember. It's a very old picture, and that was back a few months ago, and that's probably gone now because we refreshed our Discord, so probably not there.
Really fascinating for a noble warrior to start out its journey as a mere scarab and actually work his way to a top by starting off his journey by killing one of the most strongest and overpowered units, the space.
Yeah.
Very well, very, very well done. And I will give a fellow vouch out to him as well. Also, a little bit of something here, but I forgot to also mention. This is also partaking within the second question here, but what was your journey like in the community? I was meant to say the community and the Necrons, but I forgot.
Oh, it's fine. Basically, with my community, the community so far has been friendly in the at times. However, whenever like a suggestion that appears that someone doesn't really like, half the time it devolves into a massive flame war. It sometimes happens, and it's like a big mess. It happened a bit ago, a while back, a month or two ago. I'm not sure, but I'm fairly certain that basically we did like a whole like rework for Necron weapons. We're like, hey, this is a good things that could be changed so that they're not broken and not horridly overpowered. Because I definitely say this, it's not fun when you're in opposing side and you're just crushing someone into the pulp, and it's not fun when you're on the receiving end of it. At times, yes, you may receive a bit of dopamine from killing someone. However, at the same time, it's not that fun just being it, because you just win every encounter. It's a bit boring, in my personal opinion.
Alright, very well said. Alright, third question. What's your wait. Wait. Did I, by any chance, answer you the third question here? My mind had a little brain fart here.
What rank I am in Necrons, you say?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, wow. I have been getting a lot of brain farts, and that is really, really getting on my nerves. But with that out of the way, next question. What are you going to do in the near future in Necrons or the community?
Right now, I have a goal. I've gotten many awards as Necron a few times. I've gotten support, combat, and vigilance award. My main one that I want to get is leadership and discipline awards. I'll think about marksman, but that will be particularly difficult because those are mainly issued to death mark herks and warriors who have a bit higher I'm not sure what the warrior range is for their flare, but I'm fairly certain last I checked it was solidly good. Death Marks is like the main thing with Headhunter and Marksman awards. It's very good. Very good class. It used to be in a horrid state earlier because the main projectile wasn't hit scan. It was terribly slow for a projectile. And it wasn't that very useful compared to other snipers like the Long Lass and many others.
I have heard that the death marks within the Necrons have truly been getting the not so good back in the day.
Yeah, they weren't.
When I didn't actually notice that the Necron blasters were hit scan, I actually really didn't know that.
Yeah.
But now they were hit scan. I saw a couple of death marks were actually able to hit their shots. Some actually killing space marines.
Oh yes, it's very surprising to see a lot of death marks. I recently did a raid with a death mark, and he was very good, very competent. He got, I think, if I remember correctly, I have it written down here somewhere. There it is. He got 43 kills without dying, and he missed one shot the entire raid. I am not joking. That man was impressively powerful. I'll give a round of applause to that death mark. He certainly earned it, and he was validated for 2 awards, one for accuracy and one for kill count. I'll definitely say those are justified.
Really, really fascinating. Honestly, I really would wish I would get to meet him at some point, or think that he would have been in the Imperium of Man and he would actually be good with a las gun. But sadly, he had decided to go elsewhere, and therefore I would want to give him a fellow vouch and say congratulations on your kill count, my dear friend. Not only you collect skulls of the Imperium, but you also collecting disintegrated skulls of Eldar, Chaos Space Marines, and Imperialist Space Marines. My dear fellow friend, you are an absolute Deathmark legend. Alright. Now, 5th question here. What do you think? What do you think on the Necrons or the community?
What I think of the Necrons. Okay.
And the community. Do not forget.
And the community, okay. I think the community is very welcoming at first, but the main problem and gripe I have with the community is, the bugs and suggested forms. When there's like a particularly spicy take, it kind of devolves into anarchy and madness. It's a mess. Half the time I'm just sitting here thinking, why? Why does this always happen? It's a bit of a mess, and that's my only personal gripe I have with it. Everything else is very welcoming, very so far. And I'll definitely say, I do like in the Necrons. It's very fun, because some of the particular pieces are quite nice. The main rule is don't speak out of team chat and only team with Novak, which is another Necron dynasty. That's the only rules. That's like the main things. And I'm very happy with them because I've made some very particularly solid progress. It's quite fun. And I definitely recommend it if you're starting out.
If you're starting out as a Necron.
Yeah, it's very fun, and if you want to like try and get it, fighting a Necron or learning about them is definitely a good way to get like interested into it. It's the main reason how I got in here. I was particularly interested, and I was like, hey, I might as well check that out.
Alright. A good thing to actually share with the full-on newcomers of the community. Very well said.
Yeah, also, I have... it's fine. I have a thing where we have our personal little gag in the Discord. It's not really like secretive or operative. It's not really, because I think it got removed a bit ago because our leader had a bit of a issue with his PC and hard drive. And that was fixed. It was just fixed today. Literally, I'm not joking, we had a purple roll called You Already Know. I think you have a feeling where this might be going.
Well, let me just say this. It might be referring to a meme that may say, you already know who it is. It's
yes.
Is it like that?
Something like that. Yeah, yes, however, except in this case, he used it as a purple rule, and a funny thing, the gag mainly started out with one of our our Praetorians, Devi, he was particularly funny, and he never really spoke. He never really did. But when he accidentally unmuted and his voice, he was very light. He's a guy, of course. And guess what? The whole VC of devolved into.
What?
Is that a femboy?
Really?
I'm not joking.
Oh
It's
god. Oh wow, that's just coming from Necros. I honestly really thought that the Imperium was honestly just deformed and crippled a little bit, more or less than chaos. But Necron's actually having their little bit of funny. Okay,
Yes.
I admit that now.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't help when Discord added soundboards to VCs and adoption. And basically, the VC then kind of just spiraled into a YouTube poop video.
Oh god. You know, I don't have anything wrong to say about this new update for Discord, but all I'm just gonna say here is I know that one site is gonna go out of business because of this, and I don't even think they have the amount of money to survive in 10, 20 years, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Oh god. No, I might be over exaggerating it. Maybe 50 years, but who knows?
Perhaps.
Oh god, that is really, really good. That is a really, really good thing to know and a really, really good joke. Alright, now we have the final question. What is the one thing you would want in your community? Like, yeah, in the Necrons, basically.
In the Necrons.
Yes. This
Okay.
this also would only need to be any weapon, any
Just mainly like
yeah,
weapons and morphs.
morphs that can work, anything. But however, you can only list one.
Yeah. I definitely say probably destroyers because, you know, I have seen Beholder a few times, one of the developers flex the Dreadnought morph that he was working on, and I was like, holy cow, that thing's very powerful. It was in development, I checked it out, it was very cool, very powerful.
Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely destroyers because this would be like, not like immediate, more of like when Dreadnoughts and other factions get their sort of vehicle weaponry, because destroyers would be fairly useful and a great way to even the playing field against Dreadnoughts and such.
You know what? I believe that there's something going to happen in the near future, and this hasn't been announced in any sort of way, but I believe they're going to plan this. I'm thinking that they're going to give each faction their like big and hefty unit. However, it can only be one person who can wear it and use it, and that can be their faction leaders. Like for example,
Yeah,
the Imperium of Man got dreadnoughts. You guys getting what was it again?
Necron destroyers.
Necron destroyers. The Eldar getting those soul catching puppet suits, or I don't even know what they're called. Chaos being given their own chaos dreadnought, and the list just goes on. One of each heavy unit. It will not be much, but it'll be something that can actually bring more intimidation on the field, and feel like you're seeing from a distance seeing two titans fight.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a great spectacle. However, and if it was just one person, it'd probably open up a few balancing options and ideas, because we already have custodians and Algol just flexing, being very powerful, and it's only one guy saying it. It's only one guy in there. It's not like there's a whole army of them. So, and then again, there's also focus firing, like I said earlier. So I definitely say this would probably be a pretty nice change and a nice little thing for all factions. It'd be particularly fun. I definitely enjoy that.
Yep, and that will absolutely be glorious.
Ah, those would be great fights.
Mm-hmm. beyond all of that, you've given all the questions a good moderated answer. Not like anyone hasn't did it before. Each and every person who I interviewed before has given it all. Who's given it all your best, and you are one of them. So I just want to say full on thank you for showing your full opinion on the full opinion on what IOM is in the Thuncast.
Yes. IOM, I definitely say, they are not as bad as people make them out to be. Like, oh, they're some horrifyingly powerful. Yeah, they're powerful, but and then again, the bolter has been announced that it might get changed in the future. And that was like the main like gripe that people had. I definitely think if that's actually going to be changed, I think the personal gripes will probably be fine and probably be long gone. My personal opinions on Imperium, there are great people to fight against, and it's pretty smart. And I'll give you credit. You guys can really kick some butt. I've seen like 6 Space Marines once online, and I was like, holy cow, there's like a whole legion of them just waiting for me. And I just wait for them to like split up and just try to individually poke them one at a time.
Yep, that is the glory of Warhammer 40k Space Marines. Whenever our dear leader comes on, we shall always show our motivation and show our strength within the field of battle. We may be outnumbered within any battle that comes within our faces. We may be outgunned, outmaneuvered by mere Eldar or Chaos, but we still have the determination to be strong and move forward on the field of battle to fight against any enemy that comes within our way. But however,
Well,
you're missing one concept, and that is yourself. As Necrons, you may have the health, you may have the mere unit numbers, but you know what you also have? You also have the smarts and the brains. For Millennium, you have represented the mere smite-hearted mental energy of the Necrons. And as you've gone through trials and tribulations, you were able to stand and show your worth show your worth against the Imperium of Man, Eldar, and even Chaos. You all are basically motivated enough to even continue upon your path and still pursue the dreams that you would want to achieve. So, that's just basically making me say that each and you, Eldar, Chaos, and maybe even a little Caldegan or so, plays a really important role, and that's representing the Caldega.
wise words.
However,
Wise.
my dear friend, I'm glad that you were able to answer the 6 questions, and I'm glad that we were able to have this little talk. But however, it is time to put this thuncast episode into an end. Before we leave, do you have anything to say for the newcomers and the community?
For the community, I'd say keep doing what you're doing. You're making this whole thing the special thing that it is. And if you're new, don't give up. There's always a chance that you may win, even if it looks bleak.
Very, very fine words to say. Well, my dear fellow friends, this is a good day to have you here along with us to enjoy the podcast. Do not forget that you're able to enter within this podcast via replying to the text that comes with the log. And therefore, once you reply, you'll be randomly selected by a little spinning wheel thing that I have. Once you get selected, you shall be officially the next person to be part of the podcast. Thuncast. I really need to get that within my head more often. However, with that being said, you all have a wonderful day and enjoy yourselves. Log end.